Okay, I'm going to work through in the PHP option of my course, server programming. I'm going to go to that page. I'm going to work through assignment 1. I'm just going to capture my process of solving assignment 1 in case it's of use to anybody. So I have some installation notes on that. I'm just going to look at that. It's been a while since I did this, so not sure if these notes are going to work. But the first step is to log into the server. So I'm going to do that now. And I am David_Turner. Now I'm in. And as you can see, I'm going to do a long list of the home folder. And as you can see, that most people have their execute bits set on their home directories. That allows Apache to descend into their home directories. We'll need to do that as well. And that's it'll look like this. Tilde is the home directory. We issue that command. David Turner, there's the bit set. Now we need to create the public HTML folder, and we'll descend into that. Let's create a let's go ahead and create a folder, and maybe we'll call it I don't know, A1 for assignment 1. And let's see if that's visible. Let's see if that is in fact visible. Look at this. I called it A1 on the website. Alright, so let's go ahead and check that. But I'm not Turner, I'm David Turner at this time. Oh, it's 8080. This is not correct. We won't be able to get in with 8080. That's okay for a local access. So I opened up, hopefully we can get through port 443. There it is, HTTPS. We're all set there. So we do have a folder. And I'm going to need to edit that. I'm going to change this to my notes here, just to get rid of that. David_Turner, there it is. In fact, that's what we did. We have the tilde here. I have to remember the tilde. And there we are. So let's go back. Now we just tested. We've got our web server and our account configured. So log into the web server. We got that. Let's go to the Yii framework. Get the URL of the most recent release of the Yii framework. Let's go ahead and do that. Here it is. These are downloads, framework, and latest release, January 2011. January 16, that's fantastic. This is January 17 as of yesterday. And let's go ahead and grab that. The status is stable. We want that's what we're going to be using. There's the source code there. Now rather than downloading it onto my Windows machine, I'm going to right click that, copy the link address, and we're going to use that link address here. So I'm going to get out of public HTML, and I'll use wget. I'm going to paste in that URL. Do an ls. There it is. Let's go ahead and de-archive that file. It's -tar -z because it's compressed. X to expand. V, which is verbose, give me information. F is, I'm going to designate the file, and there it is. And here it is. So I'm going to remove remove the archive. We don't need that. And there's our library right there. In fact, let me go ahead and change the color on that. And that would be change settings. And it's appearance, colors. Take the colors off. It's too hard to see those colors. And now everything is in white. Alright, what do I have next? We got the Yii framework. We used wget. We expanded the archive. We expanded in the top level folder. It's better to avoid expanding into the public HTML folder because that's visible to the outside, and these library files don't need to be directly exposed to the outside clients. So we deleted the archive. It's not altogether necessary, but we did that. And then read this. I did that last quarter. And here it is, the first app. Actually, I didn't finish that, so I'll need to go through that again. And here it is. The following instructions are a variation of this. So let's see if we can figure this out. So we went into here. Once again, we've already created that. And we're running this executable here. It's called Yii C. And that generates a default Yii web application. Let's go ahead and try that. No such file or directory. Let's see what the problem is. Oh, it's this revision number is not right. So it's in framework Yii C web app dot create a web application. Yes. And as you can see, stuff are there. And I have a feeling it's not going to do much. Let's restore this. There it is. Actually, looks okay. Some instructions here about what we need to do. And some login. Now the default application has assumes that a certain database is installed. I think it's called something like, can't remember the name of it, but it's a database that runs in memory and just loads an entire file, loads the entire contents of the database in memory. So it's convenient as a starting point, and it's but we do not in fact have that database running, so we're going to need to make some configuration. Let's go ahead and connect to our database. So we use the sample MySQL schema to create a table called user table in the database. So let's go ahead and I don't know why I have this lab 9 here, so I probably need to change that. That's going to be A1, I think we call it A1. And let's go ahead and see if that runs. Anyway, we're in A1, so we go into protected and data. Let's go ahead and drill down. Let's CD into protected. Take a look at what's in there. Let's go into data. And here is it's called SQLite. And that is the default database that this sample initial web application assumes. So we need to modify that so that we're using MySQL. So let's go ahead and look at that file. And this creates a table called table user. And we don't need to change any of these. They all look okay. They create these users, test1 with password pass1 and some sample email. Let's go ahead and so basically we need to run that. So I'm going to test that I can go into the database. So once again, I'm David Turner, And my database is called David_Turner. And my password is also David Turner. Just going to do it like that. So I'm in. So I'm going to show tables. There's nothing in there. I created databases. No, I did not create databases for everybody, did I? People need to create their own databases, apparently. Alright. Am I on the right web server? I think so. Yeah. Alright, so I think I sent out instructions on how to create your own database. Let me see if I got that here. This is maybe I need to create people's databases. Oh, I see. I had to log in as root to see everyone's database. So that's in fact what I needed to do there. So if I log in as root, I see everybody. But if I log in as David Turner, yeah, that's inconvenient, isn't it? This is just put the password right in the command line. And then if I show databases as David Turner, I only see those databases that I have access to. Alright, good. That's done. So your database is created for you. And coming back to the notes, I have installation notes here. We need to run the script. So it should look like this. We're going to this line works. And rather than start the client, let's go ahead and tell the client to read from that schema. And it ran. Now let's go ahead and take a look. Show tables. There it is. There's the table user. Select star from table user. There's our sample data. Sample data is now created. Now we need to configure the database for connections. So we have to go up into this config folder in the protected folder. So I'll cd up one. As you can see, we were in data. Now we're in config. Let's cd into config. And I'm not sure what we need to do there. Make the following changes to main.php. So I figured this out last quarter. Comment out the following line. This is the line that configures the application to access data through the SQLite application or database, and we want the configuration that goes through MySQL. As you can see, there's the word MySQL in there. That's the designation of the protocol. It's a URL with a protocol designation. That's why it's followed by a colon. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. So that's main.php. And you have to read through here. So you can see there's a lot of commented lines. This is in fact the end of a comment. This is the beginning of a comment. So we're going to put this in a comment here. We're going to start a comment there. And we're going to end a comment here. So we've taken out this. Doesn't fully, there we go. So we still have that comma hanging out over there, but that's some kind of wrapping that's going on. So let's uncomment the following. Take this out. Take this out. This is good. This needs to be in here. This is the error handler setting. And so this is in fact a local host. The database name is David Turner. And the username is David Turner. The password is David Turner. And the rest of it looks good. Save that. And now we need to, we've configured the system to access our database, and we've already created sample data for it. And now we're going to use the automatic code generator. It's called Yii. I guess it's pronounced that way. And so we're going to need to go back into main.php and activate Yii. So this needs to be this chunk of configuration needs to be uncommented. So let's go up and find that. There it is right there. Uncomment the following to enable the Yii tool. Let me do that. Alright. Let's just check that, make sure that that looks good. Password. Enter your password here. What is the password? Do I do some changes there? Enter your password here. Insert some password. Oh, I see. So this is the password needed to run the Yii from your browser. So that is, I'll stick something in there. I'll put in 1235. And if removed, Yii defaults to localhost only. Edit carefully to taste. So here, this restricts access to the application only to localhost. So that's not going to work for us. So let's go ahead and duplicate that line. I'm going to keep that in as a comment. And we're going to need to set this to my IP address. So I need to know what that is. I don't want to open it up to the whole world. Let's just open it up to my IP address. But since I'm at home, I'm recording, yeah. Since I'm at home, that I need to figure out. I'm going through a router and using DHCP, so I'm going to need to find the IP address of my router. So I'll have to figure that out. Let's see if I can do that. Not sure. Haven't done that in a long time, so not sure exactly how to do it. Once again, I've got a router that's running, and I'm just going to guess here. It's at 192.168.1.0. No, this is 192.168.1.0. Let me try that. I'm going to copy that. See if we get in. I think that's the address of my router. Nothing's coming up. Let me try 1.1. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to have to remember this. Let's see if I can, why is it typing so many lines? I have to see if I can remember my my login here. Maybe it's maybe there's no password. So I'm going to give up. I don't remember my password, so I'm going to give up on that. What I'm going to try to do is I just did a little research here. This looks like a way to get the IP address of the connecting client. So I'm going to give that a try. Let's go up to my home, public HTML, and I'll call it ip.php, and I'm going to get this, and I'm going to echo this. Let's put that in a PHP echo command. I think that's how to do it, but I'm not sure. And close that off. Let's see if that works. Oh, look at that. I think that's it. I think that's the IP address of my router. So let's go back to here and back into to where we need to go. This config. Oh, it's restricted. I can't remember now. It's in protected. Inside config, and then we have main.php. So let's let access to my so anywhere outside of my IP address, clients cannot connect. So let's just put that in there. Let's go back to the instructions. Let me just double check. I have all that business in there. What is the purpose of that? The password is 1235. I want to make it 4 because of this restriction to this IP address is nice. I don't have to worry about a break-in too much. And there are some settings here about the permissions that are given to newly created objects, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Not sure why that is not in the default configuration. Now, one thing that to keep in mind is that right now I'm user David Turner, but the script is executed by user Apache. So Apache comes in as this permission, which is the first one here. I'm sorry, the last one. This is all users then would have this permission. It's a little bit of an issue there because the other people with accounts on the machine can reach in and can run these, can descend into these and look at these things. So everybody has access to everyone else's materials at this point. And let's go ahead and save that. Now we need to go to this resource in the browser. Let's go ahead and do that. Now let's go down to A1, and this is going to be, what is it? Sorry. Question mark. So it's index HTML question mark r equals g or g, whatever. I'll paste that right in there. It's good. It's asking for the login 1234. Welcome to the Yii code generator. It seems to be working okay. This we don't need anymore. Login with a password used specified above. So at this point these notes are sufficient, but that's where they end. Let's go back to where we were. Once we're in here, there are some additional notes that explain how to get the login working correctly. Let's go back and take a look at those. And creating the first Yii application. This is my Yii installation notes. Now I remember what I did. These notes here, see, these notes here don't include the they don't include information about how to get the application working with MySQL. So that's been added in my notes. Also information about how to configure the Yii generator. I think that that's in there as well. Let's go ahead and look at this. Connecting to the database. That's the default. And implementing the Crud operations. That's create, revise, something like that. I don't know what it is. Oh, create, read, update, and delete. Here's the information about configuring Yii to work. And at this point, this is where we end. Here it is, generating the user model. This is the point where we need to pick up. I'm going to make a note of that in my web page. Okay, I just modified my web page, the Yii installation notes. I just added that one last line here. Continue work in creating first Yii application from the section generating user model. Let's go there. Open a new tab. And let's go down and find generating the user model. There it is. Generating user model. After login, click the link model generator. And the model is the connection to the database. It's the model is that part of the web application that contains a persistent information, or we can call it maybe the state, the application state. So let's just follow through on there. So we do model generator right there. Let's create a new model class. We're going to generate a new model class. So here's the database table name. It's, I can't remember now. It's user table, TBL user. Not sure. Is that right? TBL user. That's it. TBL user. And let's get rid of that TBL prefix there. This is the base class. I guess we're okay on that. Let's preview. Actually, it shows, and then model path, and so it shows actually this models/user.php. It shows what it will generate. We didn't click generate yet, so I'm going to guess that this does not yet exist. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. There must be, here it is, models. There's a folder called models, so I'm going to guess that user.php would go in there, right? But it's not there. Let's take a look at the preview. Let's go ahead and preview that class. What does that mean, preview? Just click on that. It shows us what will be created. So it's going to create a class called user, which extends this parent. we can always modify this later. So this is essentially, let's go ahead and hit generate. Let's go back and check. It's not there. It's under Yii Generator's model templates default. There was some error when generating the code. Unable to write the file, so there's an issue there. Okay, I'm going to fix that. Unable to write the file, so Apache doesn't have write permissions in that folder. We're going to need to give it to Apache. So let's go back to here, where I went into AI protected, and as you can see, this models folder allows Apache to go into the folder, that's the X, allows Apache to read objects, but does not allow Apache to write. That's the dash right there. So we're going to need to do that. So I'm going to change mod, and I'll make it 777 models. There we go. Now I'm going to go into models, and let's go ahead and try one more time. How do I get back to the other screen? I'll hit preview, and then I'll hit generate again. And the code has been generated successfully. Let's go back and check that. And there it is, in fact. Here's user.php. It's been created. And I think what I want to do here is add a note on the web page to allow this permission. Okay, so I inserted this text into the web page. We need to cd into this this protected folder of the application. We have to set the permissions on this folder. I know for sure these two probably we're going to need as well, so I just proactively did that. And let's continue on. Let's generate the CRUD code. This is the code that allows us to modify user data. So we'll go into, I guess they call it the Crud Generator. So this generates the controllers that give us access to web pages, that implement web pages that allow us to modify the state of user records or records in the user table. Alright, let's go ahead and go into the CRUD Generator. There it is, CRUD Generator. The model class will be user. Controller ID is ID. I think that's all we're going to need. Let's look at preview. So the generator is going to generate all of these. As you can see, we needed to add write permission to the views folder and the controllers folder. So we've done that already. I added that down here. Actually, I'm not sure that I actually did that. So here's models. That's 777. And the controllers, we need to set that, and also views as well. So chmod 777 controllers and views. That's done. Good. And user preview. In the model class field, we enter user. In the controller ID field, enter user in lowercase. Those are the defaults. And let's go ahead and generate. Alright, let's verify that that was done. So in controllers, there is the user controller that got generated. And in the views, we have the user views. I think that must be a folder. There it is. Those are the user views. the various operations to view a record, to update a record, to create a new one, maybe to list somewhere in there. Alright. And alright, so let's move on. The controller has been generated successfully. You may try it. Accessing the Crud pages. And let's go ahead and look at that. So it's looks like this. I think we can just click here. That's the same URL that it mentioned here. Sorry, right there. So we're calling this index.php. This is the entry point into the application. And then we have R, which is the command or the controller. The one that we want is the user controller. And let's go ahead and see what happens. So when we request this, when we set R equal to user, this index.php redirects us through various PHP scripts that ends generating this here. This is going to be generated from one of the applications that's in the view, which would be in here. Let's see, I don't know which one it would be. Maybe in this index file here. I would guess that this is, see, it says H1 user, this one right there. I think that's it. Let's just test that. I'm going to add that. I'll put a little X right there. Go ahead and reload. You'll see the X is there. So we know that this file is in fact is being used to generate this page. It shows us a list of users. We can do things like delete them and so on. Create user, manage user. Let's delete user 6. And I'm going to delete the user. Are you sure you want to delete this item? Yes. And what wants us to log in? So I'm going to go back to user, see if anything was done. 6 is still in there, so it won't let us delete without logging in, but I'm not sure what our login is. Let's find that out by reading here. Well, admin. Let's go ahead and we log in as administrator using username admin, password admin. Let's try that. So this will be once again. I'll try to repeat that process where I delete the user. Let's see. It's admin and admin. Do not repeat this request again. Let's see, so we're in as admin. Let's go and look at the users again. So it's question mark R equals user. And 6 is still there. A refresh, 6 is still there. Let's see if we can delete that thing. ID is 6. Let's delete that user. This time we didn't get sent to the login page, and you'll see that 6 is in fact missing. So now we're in this manage users, and this looks like the view, admin view here. And just to take a look at that, that's this one right there. So this is the file that generates this page. See, here's H1 manage users. That's right there. Let's just verify that. Put in an X just to check that that's where we are. There's the X. Take it out. That's working. Let's see what else they recommend here. create user. I guess we should test that. That's the end, actually. Some comments down here. I think we ought to fully test the application. Let's go back to here. This is the Crud Generator. Let's go ahead. I see here. This is what's that? Updates. We can modify this test1 user. Let's go and look at that. So this test1, we can call it someone else, like say Alice. We get the password will be Alice. The email is, we'll leave that alone. Right, there's this ID. That's the primary key in the database. You'll see that ID corresponds to the ID up here. This is in fact the primary key in the database. Let's take a look at that. David Turner minus D David Turner. Maybe that's not necessary. Let me try it without that. Minus P David Turner. It's a password. Show tables. Let's see if we're in the right database. No, we're not. So, in fact, it likes to have that in there. Minus uppercase D David Turner's the name of the database. Now it's in there. So we select star from table user. Here's Alice, and this ID. If we describe this table, you can see that the ID is set. It's auto increment, and it's a primary key. So just to verify all that. All right, that's it for the first assignment.